It's weekdays with Lee Dixon on your iHeart radio station. On Thursdays, we like to have a peek inside with Craig Heppel at Ulverston Real Estate. Good morning, Craig. How are you, mate?
Good morning, Lee. Going really well today. What a beautiful day we've got.
Not too bad at all. Now, you want to set a bit of a serious tone for today's peek inside.
Well, it is a little bit serious, and it's something that all homeowners really need to take note of. And I've titled this, Is It Legit? So today I'm going to have to get a little bit technical because this affects all homeowners, especially those who may have had renovations carried out or even minor improvements to their home. And what I'm about to share is a clear indication of the value-driven market we are in, with buyers far more sensitive to the condition and the legitimacy of the property they are buying. I recently put two deals together and both of them nearly went south, mainly because of a zealous conveyancer and a by-the-book and book-only council officer, and to a much lesser degree an owner who genuinely thought all the boxes were ticked.
Okay.
The same conveyancer represented the buyers in these two different deals. Now, in both cases, without full investigation, the conveyancer put up a balloon that he believed the properties may have had unauthorised work carried out and that investigations might have been warranted with the local council.
Okay.
Now, these assumptions were based on purely the promotional images of each property that was seen online. Now, as you can imagine, each buyer became worried and called on the sellers to provide evidence as certificates of completion and the like.
Yeah.
Now, property one, it was an original 1960s build which the owner, and with the assistance of tradesmen, had renovated to a beautiful finish. He'd submitted applications to council along the way, sadly some of which were lost, and the footprint, the size of the home had not changed. It was really an extensive cosmetic renovation.
Okay.
Well, the conveyancer put the cat amongst the pigeons, advising the buyer that it was unlikely the renos had been ticked off or done to specs, when in fact they had. Now, in the end, after costing the seller a fair slab of time and money, it boiled down to two minor issues which were quickly ticked off as satisfactory with a structural engineer's report. Now, I want you to keep the term structural engineer firmly in your mind.
Okay.
Okay. And a fully licensed and qualified building inspector had checked the entire home on behalf of the buyer and found no issues or shortcomings. So eventually we had a happy buyer and the deal was kept on track.
Great.
Now, the second one, it was once again the conveyancer putting up the balloon on perceived unauthorised improvements on a home that was built in 1910. so you can imagine what's happened to that home over the years, over the last 100 years. So after 2 weeks of the seller who'd bought the property in the exact same configuration, running around trying to find approvals and certificates, the conveyancer called the council and he discovered that any works done on the property that were prior to 1993 had no bearing on the property today.
Okay.
So that's something for people to bear in mind.
Yeah.
But it's the lessons learned from home sale number one, the 60s renovator, that has the most implications for all homeowners. And that's, I'm talking here in the northwest. Today, councils will only approve works carried out by licensed, insured tradespeople, no matter how minor you may think those works are. Now, if you consider yourself as handy or have a mate who is, if you do work to your home, it may not pass muster when the time comes to sell.
Yeah, wow.
This leads me to the next vital piece of info for homeowners. If you've had work done, say in the last few years, on your home, and it's discovered that it should have been approved or certified by council, there are basically no building surveyors left in Tassie, not just the northwest, who will or can retrospectively assess and approve the work done in the past.
Holy dooly.
This is really serious stuff. People need to be aware of this. This is huge. So the seller in case one took weeks to point out to the council officer that with surveyors off the books for retrospective work, why couldn't a fully licensed building inspector or even structural engineer provide a report to satisfy council? Finally, a senior council officer saw the light and accepted a report from a structural engineer in regards to the satisfactory undertaking of the two minor issues that has held up the owner from a genuine sale. The takeaways here are very clear, Lee. If you plan on doing work to your home, use fully qualified and licensed tradies.
Great advice, as always.
Right? If you have done work and not sure if it needs to be or hasn't been ticked off, talk to a qualified building inspector or structural engineer if you are thinking of selling.
Wow, okay, a big one for today. Cheers for that, Craig. Appreciate it. What are we going to leave on? A good note, hopefully?
Well, we are going to leave on a good note. I like to share my favourite quotes with people. And the quote of the day, one of the greatest books I've read, and I'm serious, it's probably in the top 5, is called The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And chapter 10 delivers a simple, powerful message, and that is, avoid the unlucky and the unhappy.
All right, mate, we'll leave it there. Great to chat as always. We'll do it again in a week.
Lovely, Lee. Talk to you then.